Hey, Alamo City Moms Vlogs friends, it's Amanda. I'm at the Whitty. We're a little late today. I know we said 4:30, but we're here now, and we've got so much going on right now. They're setting up for events. You can hear the doors. There is stuff going on in the galleries, but we're here and I'm so excited. We're gonna see a couple of behind the scenes things and talk about what's new at the new Whitty. And with me is like the dinosaur guy himself.
I'm Thomas Adams. I'm the curator of paleontology and geology here at the New Whitty. And we are standing here in the Naylor Family Dinosaur Gallery. This is my space, I'm proud to say. Designed to talk about Texas dinosaurs and the environments that these dinosaurs lived in, going back 110 million to 70 million years ago.
So some pretty old guys.
Old guys.
Old guys. Let's look real quick. So all of these dinosaurs are Texas dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We snuck away from you. And I know it's loud. I promise we will come back and do a recap. So we're gonna start with the dinosaurs. You just saw a little bit of it. If you haven't been in to see them, come see the rest of them. And now we're gonna go see the dinosaur lab.
Exactly. So with all of our new galleries, our exhibit spaces, we've created lab spaces in each one of them. And in each of these, we talk about how do we know what we know? The science behind some of the things that we can learn, whether it be paleontology, whether it be archaeology, whether it be about natural history, Texas wild, you name it, we have a lab space for it.
And these labs are way funner than the ones you did in college, I promise.
Thank you for visiting the Whitty Museum. The museum is now closed. Thank you for visiting the Whitty Museum. The museum.
All right, and you guys have bear with us through so many Facebook Lives. You know it gets a little awkward, so sorry for the bumping, but we're taking you on an after-hours tour. Right now we are looking at...
This is the dinosaur lab. So in here we have a space where kids can come in and do a physical excavation, basically pretend to be a paleontologist and uncover a dinosaur. We have drawers where they can do discoveries, look at different kinds of fossils, and what these fossils tell us. How do we know what we know based off the fossils? We have videos in here talking about some of the science they can learn about. We talk about dinosaur footprints and what they reveal to us. And of course, we even have how to measure up to a dinosaur. And then of course, one of the things that might be a fun fact that people might not know is we have an exhibit here talking about being a paleontologist, excavating fossils and how that's done, how animals become fossilized. But we have a case here filled with tools that are used to actually excavate fossils, and these are my tools. These are tools that I took around the world to excavate dinosaurs. In fact, there's a picture of me excavating a dinosaur in Mongolia, a dinosaur called Dinocaris, and these tools here were a part of that excavation.
Thank you so much, Thomas.
Oh, you're welcome.
You guys, those are things you have at your house, so if you really want your kid to be inspired, maybe starting to look at the STEM side, the STEM path for your kiddos, that's stuff you have at home. There's brooms and brushes and, I mean, I'm not saying give them to your kids to do that, but you know. And right now we are going to go meet Alana in the live lab to see some animals.
I'll take you on a tour over to that one.
Thank you. Hi. Hi. Let's go. Okay. Thank you, Thomas.
Bye.
You see this guy, this is actually, I don't know if you can this is real footage from Big Bend taking over an area at a time, and every like 15 minutes or so there's a thunderstorm.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, Alana just told me, she's going to introduce herself in a second, I promise. But this sky in here is footage from Big Bend, and about every 15 minutes it goes through thunderstorms before it gets even louder in here. Let's go to the live lab.
Hi everybody, my name is Alana. I'm the Nature and Science Educator here at the Whitty Museum, and I want to welcome you to the SWBC Live Lab. So in here we have our live animals. They're all native to Texas, and let me show you some of them.
Yeah, who lives in here?
Okay, so in our first tank over here, this guy, this is Speedy. He's hanging out under his heat lamp right now. He is a Texas tortoise. This is the smallest species of tortoise in North America, so he is fully grown at that size. They're also a protected species here in Texas, so we don't see as many of them anymore as we used to, but he's living it up here at the museum.
So tell me what the difference, so I can argue with my 5-year-old, because you know she knows everything. What is the difference between a tortoise and a turtle?
Okay, so turtles live in water.
Okay.
They can live on land also, but they need water as well. Tortoises only live on land, so their habitats are their main difference.
And if I find one of these guys, you know, every now and then they like wander through a yard or there, whatever, what do I do with it?
So if it's a tortoise, please do not take it to the river. So tortoises cannot swim; they will sink. They will sink in the water. So the best thing to do is to leave them alone. If you see one crossing the road, and this is when most people encounter tortoises, do not return it to the side of the road from whence it was coming.
Help it finish crossing.
Yes, exactly. They pick a direction and they go. So every day,
Like a toddler,
yes,
you guys.
exactly. Every day, Speedy gets about an hour of sunshine and exercise outside, and anyone who has seen me do what I call tortoise time during the day can attest to the fact that he picks one direction
And that's where
every
he
day, and that's where he goes. And so
Love it.
every few minutes, I have to get up off my stool and run over.
Speedy
and
knows
pick him
what he
up.
wants.
Yep, exactly.
Show me who else lives in here.
All right, come on over. So in these aquariums, we have some fish that are native to the San Antonio River.
Okay.
And right now we have 3 tanks that you can see. We have some shiners and some. And I already forgot the name of the ones on the bottom. Well,
okay.
yeah, up here we have our shiners. We have black-tailed and red-tailed shiners in here. And these guys, the reason I can't remember their names is they actually change out. Sarah, the San Antonio River Authority, actually provides these fish for us.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So there might be different fish
Exactly,
every visit
whenever
you
you
come.
come. Yeah. In here we have a king snake. This is our female king snake. We have another king snake, a male, in the back. And what makes king snakes really cool is that they actually eat other snakes.
Oh.
So they're not called king snakes because of their size. You can see that she's not a very large snake.
No.
She will
She's
get bigger.
really pretty, though.
She will get bigger than this. She's beautiful. Yeah, she's beautiful. But yeah, king snakes are known to eat other snakes, including rattlesnakes. So
they're a good snake to have around.
yes,
We like king
all
snakes.
snakes are good snakes
Well,
to
but
have
you know what I
around.
mean.
But yes, for sure.
All right.
Up here we have a Mexican milk snake. You probably will not see her. She is itty bitty. She's our youngest snake. She's very tiny and she likes to hide. So she spends most of her time under her log or digging into the dirt. She really enjoys digging. Yeah. Up here we have Jabba. This is our Gulf Coast toad. Now
Oh my gosh.
he is.
No, can you see? Let's see if you can. I don't know
He
if
is
we can get close
really,
enough.
he's a really special toad. He's been here at the Whitty Museum for about 15 years.
We're gonna get awkward. Hold on.
You want to see him.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh, there he is. That's Jabba, you guys.
Yeah, like I said, he's about 15 years old at least, which is incredibly old for a Gulf Coast toad. But yeah, he's a celebrity. He has encountered many children in his days.
That's awesome. All right, I'm going to come back down to the king snake, you guys, because she's really pretty. So black and yellow, is that what they always look like, or do they sometimes look
There
different?
are 4 different species of king snakes that live here in Texas, and so this particular type, she is a speckled king snake, and this is their pattern. Yeah, she's
All
beautiful.
right, we're just going to peek at these guys real quick
These
because
are
I want to
tree
take
frogs.
you behind the scenes. Okay, and see under the log in there.
Here we have our corn snake. That's Robert.
You guys, we could spend like an hour just looking at these guys. Okay, I'm going to pass back off. There we go. Okay, here we go.
All right.
We get to go in behind the scenes of the live lab, y'all. I'm really excited.
We can hold that door open. There you go.
Perfect.
All right, come on in. So this is where all of the animal care happens. So I spend typically an hour, 2 hours doing animal care. And that includes feeding the animals, making sure their water is fresh, cleaning out their tanks, all that fun stuff, all the great stuff.
All the things
Yes.
that come with owning an animal.
Yes, it's kind of similar to parenting in some ways. Yes, for sure. And this is also my workspace. So in addition to taking care of the animals, I'm the nature and science educator, so that means I teach the programs that have to do with Texas wild and land stewardship
Okay.
and dinosaurs. So
Very cool.
teaching and animals, that's pretty much what I do all day.
All day.
Yeah, all day.
Sounds like a dream job.
Would y'all like to meet my favorite little guy?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is Cousin It. And we call it Cousin It because we don't know yet if it's a male or female. And we won't know for a few more months. But this animal is another Texas tortoise, just like Speedy that you met earlier. This one's only about 7 months old, though.
Wow.
So itty bitty.
How old will he or she be when he reaches full-grown size?
That's a good question. They could probably be fully grown by the time they're 5. It's hard to say, and I don't know the exact answer to that.
That's okay.
Yeah, but
We'll find out.
yeah,
right?
we will.
When,
We'll
when he
find out.
stops growing,
Yeah.
we'll know he's fully
exactly,
grown.
exactly. Somebody asked me once if you could count the rings on their shell to tell their age. You cannot.
That's good to know, right? Because if we
Can't do
counted
that.
right now, he'd be
Yeah.
like 8 or something.
Right. But Cousin It is a little bit shy, but very cute. And it also gets that exercise time every day with Speedy. So they get to go out on the lawn and munch on some grass and take a
Get
little
some
walk.
sunshine, a little fresh air. I love that. Okay, so we are now going to go meet Casey. You guys know I have to have my notes.
Yeah.
We're going to go meet Casey and go see the Rock Art Lab. So here we
Right.
go.
Have
Let's go.
fun.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for visiting.
All right. I'm gonna walk next to you guys because this is weird.
Hi!
Hi! We're ready to go up.
Absolutely. So we're going to walk through the Canyonlands up here into the lower Pecos. So we're super excited about this great new exhibit.
We're sneaking up, you guys.
Yeah. So if you look at the walls, they're actually the Canyonlands, just like in the Pecos. And not only are they rocks just like in the canyons, but we also have a great picture here. I'm sorry, some rock art recreations just like in the Pecos. This is our Fate Bell Shelter. And that leads us right into the Rock Art Lab. So,
This space is just so gorgeous. Are you loving being up here?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring. You feel like you're in nature. And I don't know if Nisa can show this, but all over our floors, we've got great little paws. So there are great things to look out for. There's
It's like a
deer.
treasure hunt.
Absolutely.
Come on in.
There's deer and other animal tracks here. So what we do in our Rock Art Lab is we talk about making paint. And so when you come in, you can learn a little bit about it from our murals and our artifacts. And on the schedule, we schedule demonstrations on how to actually make paint.
So this is the paint that would be used to make the rock art.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And this
very
is the
cool.
way that ancient Indians used to do it. So they would find the mineral elements in the environment because they lived off the land. They would crush them up on a grinding stone just like this. They would then mix them in a shell, add some animal fat and some cactus residue from cooking the cactus and boiling it. And then they would mix it up and they would have a paint. It was pretty sticky, but it had to be because it has been on the walls for over 4,000 years.
4,000 years here. If paint now stayed on my walls for 4,000 years, we would have like a huge issue in our house.
And so, yeah, absolutely. And so speaking of getting paint on your walls, we have something super cool here at the Whitty. This is our rock art wall, and we made this especially so that you guys could come in here and do some rock art.
That's so fun.
So, when I work with students, we talk about living in the Pecos, and maybe I'll draw the Pecos River, and maybe I'll put... And we usually have great student artists who are a lot better than I am. So we can put a turtle on here. Would you like to try and add
Oh my gosh.
an animal here?
Here, maybe I'll add a horse. We have horses, right? There we go.
And it is so great to see all the little ones when they're making their art, and
I'm
the fourth
sure.
graders in my
What
program.
a highlight to get to draw on the wall. I mean,
Absolutely.
if you want to remember something, make it fun, right?
Yeah.
And you've made it.
And so, obviously, like you were saying, you can't draw on the wall at home, but you can totally draw on the wall at the Whitty. And everybody always asks this because they're always scared to draw on the wall, but it's water soluble and it comes right off.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Really?
So we've thought of everything when we do this.
No detail left undone.
Absolutely not. So, tell me real quick,
I just wanted to know, what are some of the other things that they would make the paint colors out of? Because you see them, and some of them are, I mean, the reds and the yellows and
Absolutely. So these are the colors that we use. We use the same colors that the people at the Pecos did.
no
They had-
magenta or turquoise.
No, it was white, yellow. It was the colors of nature: white, yellow, red, and black. And actually,
Mineral colors.
one thing I always like to point out when I'm making paint with people, like because they do want to know the actual mineral elements we have here in the museum for people to see. So this is our red ochre or hematite. This is our yellow ochre or limonite. This is our manganese here.
Okay.
This is charcoal, which they also use as black.
Right.
And then they have some white kale and clay.
That is so neat.
Yeah, and so all of the paint making tools are right here in our drawer for you guys to discover at the Whitty.
Very cool.
So,
And we are going to see.
yeah, so next we're going to go to our Lifeways lab.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
remember.
yeah, so we can learn what we teach the students and visitors in the Lifeways lab is how the people of the Pecos actually kind of used the day-to-day objects around them in nature to survive.
We're going to just stop and let you guys check this out for a
Oh
second.
yeah,
It's easy to
absolutely.
imagine our life here was harsh. The heat of summer could be overpowering, and in winter, temperatures could be bitterly cold.
So this is
Seasons of warmth.
really,
But
truly
there were
depicting
also
early Texas, yes?
Absolutely. So we interpret 4,000 years ago.
Wow.
But we know that they have lived here at least 9,000 years. So a lot of the tools don't change that much over time. There are some shifts in the spear points, and our archaeologists love to talk about the changes in technology. And so-
As it is, as it.
Absolutely. And so here's an example of the years, changes in technology throughout the years.
Look, I'm sorry, this is a really corny thing to say, but it's like iPhones, they just keep getting smaller.
Absolutely. And so we, in this time period, they used spears, but you can see that they get smaller when they start using bows and arrows. And so the technology just does change over time, and it just makes for better hunting.
That's
So,
right. And then they can live longer.
Absolutely.
And have more babies.
Yeah. Well, people think that it was like really challenging. You go out into the desert and you're like, how did they do this? But actually, they were pretty successful. I mean, they had time to make art and music and do
Right.
all the things just like we do. So,
Love that.
yeah. And speaking of curators,
Hello.
we have Dr. Brian Bales here.
How are you?
So tell me
Good to
what
see
you've
you.
got here.
So we've got, my name is Brian Bales. I'm the curator of anthropology and health. And so you are in the Lifeways lab of the
Okay.
people of the Pecos. So one of the remarkable things about West Texas, just a few hours west of here, is the incredible arid or dry climate. So things that typically aren't preserved in the archaeological records, we find out there in
Because
these
they
rock
stay
shelters.
dry.
Because they stay dry. For example, and many of that we explore in this Lifeways lab. So, for example, beautiful basketry and fibers that are made from the plants of sotol, yucca, lechuguilla. These are all desert plants that thrive in the desert environments. And the people that lived on the land could use these to make fibers and string and ropes of various kinds, which they would weave into baskets, sandals, nets, fishing nets, twined.
Yeah.
So all of this coming from the land. And so we have a lot of fun interactives where you can
weave,
get your hands on, try the different weaving techniques, because there's really beautiful art forms. They were also painted many times. Sometimes you can, in this piece, for example, you can see the faded paint.
Where the paint was.
And again, from pigments from the earth.
And about how old are some of these?
Oh, these can be several thousand years old in some cases.
That's incredible that they were
Yeah.
preserved so well.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And one of the other things that that is preserved remarkably well in the dry desert environments of West Texas happens to actually be what we call coprolites.
Okay.
Coprolites, if you're not familiar with the term, is actually fossilized poop or fossilized feces.
Do you happen to have a adolescent boy in your house? Because I have a
Yes.
feeling this would be very popular.
So not only and we find these when we excavate the dry rock shelters, we find the remains of basically trash middens and toilets, and we also find partly chewed what we call quids, which are the leaf bases of lechuguilla. But we can actually learn, as scientists and archaeologists, we can learn a lot from this. I mean, it sounds gross and disgusting, but in the lab, we can look through a microscope, and by looking at what we find in the feces, we can see the remains of the plants and animals and seeds and fibers and all of these things that went into their diet. So we actually learn, in addition to actual DNA, as our technology gets better, we can do DNA
That's
studies.
fascinating.
So they're actually a real big window into the health and diet of the ancient peoples that lived on the land.
Does anything that you've ever found in the poop, has it told us anything about a plant or an animal that you maybe weren't aware of before? Or does it
Well,
just kind of confirm that it was there?
Well, a little bit of both. There's some surprises. I mean, I think just for the general public, one of the things that I think one of the first things I noticed was just lots of things that we wouldn't think of as food were consumed. Lizards, snakes, pretty much anything that crawled
What
or
you
could
could-
catch.
what you could catch,
exactly.
exactly.
Crickets, insects, lots of insects, and we'll see the little
Good
legs.
protein, right?
And you can see, which is actually making a comeback in the
I was
haute
gonna say,
cuisine these days. But the kids and the families can come and actually look through the microscope and see these different
That's really awesome.
items. Let's see, what else? So this is all about interactives and getting your hands, these interactive drawers, again, much like the dinosaur dig.
Oh, yeah.
Families can come in here and explore.
Come see, come take a peek.
And dig around and find.
So it tells us what we're looking for.
Exactly.
And when we would have found it, or when it would have been.
So this is a good example of a bison tooth. Many of there were periods of wet and dryness over the thousands of years out in West Texas, during which the bison were a very important source for meat. This is a good example of a stone gorget, which is actually an ornament, like a necklace. And we find many of these.
And what would this have been made out of? Stone or
stone? Actually polished and ground stone. We also find them made out of marine shell. Which has been, and of course it's not right by the coast, so it was actually traded from the Texas coast. They would have.
And I totally cut you off. You're going to tell me about the notches.
Oh, I was just going to say they often have designs decorated or drilled notches and things like that. So again, beautiful artwork and delicate work that went into to many of these artifacts. And again, because when you're dealing with ancient peoples and cultures. It's easy to forget that they were just like us.
They're just like us,
and they have the same feelings and the same fears and emotions. And so that's one of the things that. I guess which brings us to the diorama. Really, it's kind of a nice segue.
Good job.
Yeah.
You totally planned that, right?
No, actually. Now this diorama, it's probably a better view from the front where you can really see, this was done by a wonderful local artist named Isaac who, this diorama was in the original Whitty Museum prototype. I would say it wasn't really a prototype, it was the beginnings of what is now the People of the Pecos Gallery, but back in the 1980s.
Okay.
When the museum first put on display a permanent exhibition about the people of the Pecos. And it just to show the family life and all of the things that you'll see here, the metates to ground the food, to grind into meal, the cooking hearth, and the a little boy who's got a rabbit stick hunting rabbits. Like, it's all in here. But this diorama really was the inspiration for creating the entire immersive experience that your family will get when they come
That's really
through the
cool
laboratory.
to
So
know.
you're actually walking through, and you are a part of this diorama,
diorama.
when you come and experience. And then
Love
in
that.
the labs, we really get our hands dirty
Get down to the
and
details.
get down to the details.
That's right.
Exactly.
I want to show you guys, just because it's cool, the view from out here. So let's go pop out on the porch, and happens to be all of our friends are out here with us. Let me find a door that I can open. Hi! Welcome to our Company's Outdoor Library. I know. Thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you all for helping us with this.
Sure.
All of your exhibits and labs are just amazing, and I love that all of the labs really transform the experience of something that you're just coming to see to something that you're actually coming to do. And it's noisy with going home traffic, but thank you, and thank all of you, and we will, I promise to give you guys a little recap of that noisy part at the beginning, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.